All right, good evening, and let's get right to breaking news. An arrest in a quadruple homicide in Portland. Police say they have arrested 27-year-old Jeremy Lenoir in Frisco, Texas, that is near Dallas, in connection with those 4 killings.
Now, that shooting happened last summer on June 6th in Portland's Creston-Kenilworth neighborhood. 4 men were found shot and killed at a home on Southeast Boise Street late that night. Portland police say Lenoir will be extradited to Oregon. They add this is still an ongoing investigation.
He was a normal dude and was passionate about life and didn't deserve this. And I don't want more people to be subject to some weird incident like this.
The family of a Vancouver man is desperate for answers after their loved one was gunned down in a Northeast Portland parking garage.
His name is Jacob Dreyer, 38 years old. He's one of the latest victims of gun violence as our homicide toll continues to rise in the Rose City. Let's bring in KGW's Mike Benner live in the newsroom. Mike, you spoke to his niece. Does she have any idea who killed her uncle or why?
Yeah, no idea, David. They don't know a whole lot beyond when their loved one was shot and killed and where. And when I reached out to police, they said they just can't release much because it would jeopardize the investigation. They're asking for patience from the community as they work through what they call a labor-intensive and meticulous process. Family, on the other hand, is anxious for information and an arrest in the case.
I mean, we would go every day. He taught me how to snowboard. It was our happy place.
Boarding down the side of the mountain is how Savannah Hall is choosing to remember her Uncle Jacob.
He was known on the mountain this winter as the green bike legend because his car was in the shop. And so he took a scooter up there with chains on to go snowboarding.
Jacob Dreyer, according to Savannah, was also a car enthusiast, but not just any car enthusiast.
He's a European car mechanic, and which is like hard to find. Nobody wants to work on European cars because they're really difficult and you have to like take the whole car apart to make it happen. And he just had this love for it.
It makes what happened over the weekend all the more upsetting. Around 7:15 Saturday night, police responded to reports of a shooting in a parking garage at Northeast 2nd and Holiday in Northeast Portland's Lloyd district. Officers found Dreyer dead. Since then, detectives have said next to nothing to media or the family, citing their need to protect the integrity of the investigation.
We're kind of just in the dark, like, oh, there's some crazy lunatic running around.
What we do know is that Dreyer is one of more than a dozen people killed by gunfire in Portland this year. As if that's not bad enough, there have been more than 250 shootings in the Rose City since January 1st.
I'm furious. I'm absolutely disgusted with what Portland is and that someone innocent like that could be just out doing something and get their life taken from them.
Savannah Hall and the rest of her family are hoping police can track down the person who shot and killed her uncle.
He was a normal dude and was passionate about life and didn't deserve this. And I don't want more people to be subject to some weird incident like this.
All right, among the details authorities are keeping close to the vest, have they identified a suspect and what might he or she look like? We just don't know at this point. As always, though, anyone who may have information about the case is urged to pick up the phone and call the Portland Police Bureau. David.
Mike Benner in the newsroom. Thanks, Mike. Turning to Portland's housing crisis now, advocates today asked officials to stop focusing on moving homeless people into shelters and instead to get them into housing. Now, a coalition of agencies held a news conference where they issued the mayor, Ted Wheeler, a challenge. Move 3,000 homeless people into homes and apartments by the end of the year. They want the city to take money earmarked for shelters in large villages and reallocate it toward renting apartments at market value. The challenge is a direct rebuke of the proposal released by the mayor's office last month. That idea was to open 3 massive villages holding 1,000 people each.
Those are not proposals to end the homeless crisis. They're the proposals to end public camping. And we think that's the wrong place to start.
The beauty of this program is that it helps to match individual need of addressing folks' human suffering of being on the street with a tailored, humane approach.
Advocates estimate their plan would cost $85 million a year. They acknowledge that is a huge price tag, but argue it's a lower cost per capita than the city's pitch to open safe rest villages. The mayor told KGW he is open to all ideas.
In the pandemic, Oregon State University is the latest school to announce changes to mask policies. Starting March 12, masks won't be required at most university locations. Negative COVID tests or proof of vaccination also won't be required at indoor and outdoor events starting today. This comes as Oregon gets ready to lift its statewide mask mandate on March 12. Masks will still be required in places like healthcare settings and on public transportation.
Well, we're a week into war now, and the civilian death toll in Ukraine already staggering. It has passed 750 now, according to the UN. Today, also the first and smallest sign of any kind of diplomatic progress. Ukrainian and Russian officials resumed peace talks. They tentatively agreed to a ceasefire in some areas. Now, this would allow for humanitarian corridors. That's where families can evacuate and food and medical and first aid can be brought in. Really important here. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky now, he wants to meet directly with the Russian president.
I think I have to talk with Putin. The world has to talk with Putin because there are no other ways to stop this war.
We'll see what happens there. Zelensky says he is willing to offer concessions, though not when it comes to Ukraine's independence. In Washington now, President Biden now weighing a ban to end Russian oil imports to squeeze Putin and Moscow even more. That's a move that appears to have bipartisan support.
We are subsidizing the war machine of Vladimir Putin, and I don't think any American wants us to do that.
The White House also now asking Congress to approve $10 billion in humanitarian and defense aid to Ukraine. And meanwhile, here in Oregon, local businesses are finding new ways to raise funds to help support those living half a world away in so much fear and uncertainty. Christelle Comway joins us. And Christelle, there are tens of thousands of people of Ukrainian and Russian descent in our area, and they must be watching this with just a mixture of disbelief and really concern.
Absolutely, David. Now, local artist Tatiana Ostapenko left the country at 18. She's now using her paintbrush to help fellow Ukrainians.
I'm very much connected to Ukraine.
That connection is clear in her work. Paintings inspired by her birthplace, Ukraine.
It is my home. It is where all my childhood and my formative years are. It is an intrinsic part of me.
Tatiana Ostapenko left more than 20 years ago. Portland is now home where she has an art studio.
I'm interested in those that never get the place in the history books.
Her paintings focus on women's issues and life challenges in the post-Soviet era. Last week, when Russia invaded Ukraine, her first thought was to return to her homeland.
I don't know anything about political activism. I need to do what I'm actually good at.
And that's painting, so she's selling every piece of her artwork.
Can pick a painting that they want, and instead of purchasing and giving the money to me, they make a donation.
All the money raised will go to Global Giving Fund, a nonprofit distributing funds where they're needed most in a now war-torn country.
Children's oncology wards that have to get evacuated, orphanages.
We just saw a need, and so we were like, how can we give back in the way that we know how to do that, and that's with flowers.
In downtown Portland, Giffords Flowers is also raising money for Ukrainian assistance.
The sunflower is the national flower of Ukraine.
All the profits from sunflower sales through the end of the month will go to Direct Relief. The organization helps cover medical needs in the conflict area.
Even though they are so far away, we can see what they're going through, and we want to just be able to give what we can.
Flowers and art, symbols of beauty and strength, connecting Portlanders to Ukrainians almost 6,000 miles away.
It's a lifeline. It feels like a lifeline. I feel immense gratitude.
Now, Tatiana started with about 88 paintings at the beginning of the week, and that was of various sizes, and now she only has about 50 left. Prices vary from a couple of $100s to $3,000, and so far, she has raised more than $33,000 for the effort. And we'll have more information on our website about how you can help the people of Ukraine with either buying some of the sunflowers or the paintings. David?
Got to check it out. People want to help. Christelle, thank you.
One of Oregon's biggest manufacturing companies has agreed to pay big in a class action lawsuit that says it polluted neighborhoods in southeast Portland. That settlement should get final approval this spring. KGW's Tim Gordon is live at Precision Cast Parts, the company at the center of this. Tim?
Right, Laurel, and this is the large facility right here by us where Castparts makes airplane parts and other things. It's from here that neighbors say toxic metal particulates spewed onto them and their homes. It is a fact that in 2016, the U.S. Forest Service and state regulators found metal toxins in tree moss near the Precision Castparts plant. Some neighbors filed a lawsuit saying the company exposed them to harmful pollutants because Precision Castparts was the source of the contaminants. Now, the manufacturer and the plaintiff's attorneys have been in a big legal battle for nearly 5 years now. This became a big class action suit. And last summer, a settlement which just got a judge's initial approval. It requires Precision Castparts to spend nearly $10 million on better emissions controls. The company spent $7.7 million so far, and it'll get credit for that. And it will pay people in roughly 6,000 residences an average of $3,500. An attorney for those taking on Precision Castparts says it is the largest environmental class action settlement ever in Oregon.
They play an important role not only in getting justice for large numbers of people, in this case the people affected by Precision's pollution, but they can really play a vital and important role in deterring future polluters from engaging in the same behavior when they know there's the potential to face this kind of liability.
It's a start, let's put it that way. At least it looks like they're going to try to make an effort to do something.
Now, for its part, Precision Castparts says the settlement allows it to end costly long-term litigation, saying, as always, it will remain in compliance with regulatory permits and invest in strong emission control technology. A judge is expected to give final approval to this deal in May. People have until April 9th to apply to be getting a settlement amount of money, and we have information for that at KGW.com. Back to you.